प्यार में गिरे हैं हम कुछ इस कदर, कभी पहला नशा तो कभी पहली नज़र, हम डूबने लगे वो रहे बेखबर। प्यार में गिरे हैं हम कुछ इस कदर, कभी सामने वाली खिड़की तो कभी इजहार की वो चिट्ठी, कभी क्लास की लास्ट बेंच पर तो कभी काम से छुट्टी लेकर, हम बेझिझक बहने लगे उन पर भी था असर। प्यार में गिरे हैं हम कुछ इस कदर, कभी आए वो इस शहर बीते जो शामों सहर, कभी फिरे वो दर बदर रहे अधूरे उम्र भर, हम तैरने लगे वो रुक गए किनारे पर। प्यार में गिरे थे हम कुछ इस कदर। So today, through a virtual session, I had the chance to speak with someone who is a brilliant spoken word artist, an actress, and so many more things. She does not fit into one box. उन्हें प्यार नहीं इश्क चाहिए और वो 2019 में 1999 ढूंढ रही थी। प्रिया मलिक। Welcome to being Senti-Mental, Priya.
Thank you, love.
How are you feeling right now?
Really good. I love. So I'm really glad that you decided to do this particular episode with me because I think love makes the world go around.
What is falling in love like for you?
So I fall in love head over heels. I'm a diehard romantic, Haley. And I've always been this person. And that's something, बेबाक, बेखौफ, बेतकल्लुफ बंदगी. That line from my poem, मुझे प्यार नहीं इश्क चाहिए. That's my definition of love for me. And this is so uncool in today's times, but for me, love is devotion. For me, love is literally worship. And then I demand the same from the other person too. I mean, I probably won't use the word demand, but then I expect that too. But in my way, I love people in the best possible way I can. And sometimes I can come across as very overwhelming, but I've learned to embrace that as well. मतलब मुझे पता है कि अगर मुझे किसी से प्यार है तो उनको तो पता ही होगा, लेकिन मेरे आसपास जितने भी लोग हैं उन सबको भी पता होगा. I'm that person.
So, people often say कि instead of calling it falling in love, we should say we rise in love. So, is that something that you agree with, or for you it is actually the head over heels love that you described?
Funny you say that, because जब आपने मुझे इस podcast के बारे में message किया था, and you said the subject is falling in love, हमारी सिर्फ इतनी बात हुई थी इस बारे में, right? The first thing I thought of was this Tal movie में जो dialogue है, rising in love. That's the first thing that came in my mind.
Exactly.
Because yes, love makes you the best version of who you are. अगर आप किसी के साथ प्यार में हैं, अगर आप किसी से मोहब्बत करते हैं और सही राह में जा रहे हैं, तो वो आपके अंदर का सबसे अच्छा प्रतिबिंब दिखाएगा. That will be आपके अंदर की अच्छाई, आपके अंदर की kindness, आपके अंदर की compassion. Because आपने notice किया होगा when we are in a good relationship, हम खुश होते हैं, right? तो as a person हम एक अच्छे इंसान भी बन जाते हैं. So अच्छे इंसान होते हैं, लेकिन और भी अच्छे बन जाते हैं क्योंकि लाइफ का एक वो जो पार्ट है, लव एंड रिलेशनशिप्स, जब वो अच्छा होता है. एंड ऑनेस्टली व्हाट हेली, आई फील कि इवन आपकी स्किन, आपके बाल, आपका शरीर, सब कुछ अच्छा होने लगता है when you're in a good relationship. I've personally experienced that. So yeah, creatively, personally, and even professionally, you become a better person when you are in love with the right person.
So what does falling in love feel like to you? Like, when do you know you're in love?
It is a gradual process, and it happens over time. And I'll sound really filmy again, and I admit मैं बहुत filmy हूँ इन मामलों में. I do believe कि दो चीजें होती हैं मेरे साथ स्पेशली. एक होती है कि मैं उस इंसान के बारे में बात करना चाहती हूँ, चाहे मैं उस इंसान को कहीं भी किसी भी बात में कहीं से उसका नाम ले आऊं, चाहे अपने दोस्तों से बात कर रही हूँ, चाहे मैं अपने पेरेंट्स से बात कर रही हूँ, कहीं ना कहीं आई स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट पर्सन अ लॉट. एंड मेरी
वाह।
फैमिली और स्पेशली मेरी सिस्टर को मेरी इस आदत का अंदाजा हो चुका है. तो जब मैं किसी इंसान के बारे में, किसी शख्स के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा बात करने लगूं, मेरी बहन हमेशा मुझसे पूछती है, आर यू इन लव, लाइक कुछ है, लाइक इज देयर समथिंग. एंड आई हैव रियलाइज दैट मैं वो इंसान हूँ, कहीं ना कहीं उस इंसान की बात मेरे अंदर से आ ही जाती है. आई एंड अप टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट पर्सन. तो एक ये है. और दूसरा, आई वाज वाचिंग रॉकस्टार. अभी 2 दिन पहले आपको मैंने बताया था, आई वाज वाचिंग रॉकस्टार. और उसमें एक वो बात कही गई है दैट when you feel this indescribable pull towards someone which you can't help, right, especially now at this age, like, I didn't want to be a ditzy person in love, that oh my god, I'm in love with that person, this person. But I realized that it was so hard to not be around that person, to not talk to that person. And I restrained myself as much as possible. लेकिन वही है ना, प्यार एक मतलब नदी की तरह अपनी राह ढूंढ लेता है. आई थिंक प्यार पानी होता है, राइट? जैसे पानी अपना रास्ता ढूंढ लेता है. कुछ भी खड़ा कर दो, कहीं ना कहीं दीवार भी खड़ी कर दो, तो भी पानी रिस्क के उस दीवार के अंदर चला जाता है. सो आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट लव इज. You won't be able to stop it. Society won't be able to stop it. Rules and regulations won't stop it. Gender, caste, religion, sex, nothing will stop it when you're really in love with a person. So yeah.
तो आप अगर आपको प्यार हो तो आप इजहार करते हो या फिर आप इंतजार करते हो कि सामने वाला इजहार करे?
मैं बहुत ज्यादा इजहार करती हूँ, हेली. आई एम दैट पर्सन, मतलब, एंड आई डू बिलीव इन दैट. आई बिलीव इन बीइंग unabashedly in love with someone. That the poem that I wrote, that poem was all about being overwhelmingly in love with someone, because that's just how I am. I am that person who will text a person 30 times and not think कि ओ पहले मैं रिप्लाई करती हूँ, फिर मैं उसके रिप्लाई का वेट करूंगी, उसके बाद नहीं. If I'm in love, I'm in love. I'll just message the person, I'll call the person, I will ask the person कहाँ हो. I'm that typical uncool girl in love. I'll be jealous, I will be possessive, I will want to know everything about that person. And one thing which is really peculiar, I don't know if you relate with it, Haley, and I would love to know, is that I love to know the history of that person. मतलब मैं childhood से शुरू होती हूँ और मुझे पूरा जानना होता है इंसान की जिंदगी के बारे में, हर चीज के बारे में, राइट? कि what were your disappointments, स्कूल में तुम कैसे थे, तुम्हारे दोस्त कौन थे, are you still in touch with that person, what was your favorite subject, what was that one embarrassing incident in school for you. मतलब I'd like to paint that picture, I like to have that story on my canvas. Of the person that I'm in love with, the history, the geography, the chemistry, the biology, the English, the Hindi, everything of that person, their grammar, punctuation, मुझे सब पता होना चाहिए.
And I think that's what, मतलब, isn't that the first phase of bonding anyway? Like where you really get to know someone is when you ask like 100 questions. आप class लगाओ और खुद भी मतलब जवाब दो उस हर सवाल का.
बिल्कुल.
I think like जो रिश्ते शुरुआत से ही they are rich with conversations are the relationships for me that are very strong. क्योंकि you've spoken about everything you are and everything you want to be. So I think it leaves like that room to be with each other,
Yeah, I mean, communication is the key, after a while सब कुछ चला जाता है. कहते हैं ना कि आपकी मतलब आपका रोमांस भी कितने दिन रहेगा, आपका घूमना फिरना भी कितने दिन रहेगा. At the end of the day, it's two old people in a room who are able to talk to each other. So I think communication is definitely the key. And it is so interesting to find someone that you can talk to for the rest of your life. अगर आप किसी ऐसे इंसान के साथ रिश्ते में जिससे आप बात ही नहीं कर पाते, where you two are not on the same page in terms of communication, then I don't think you can do it in the long haul,
Yeah.
And another thing I believe is कि किसी भी रिश्ते को घसीटना गलत है. और जिस मोमेंट में आपको लगने लग जाए कि अब I'm putting in, it's not effortless anymore, I'm putting in, मैं घसीट रही हूँ, ना ये चल रहा है, ना ये उड़ रहा है, ना ये भाग रहा है. I think that's the moment you know that it's not working.
And अभी like we always talk about this कि आज की generation का प्यार अलग है, पहले प्यार अलग हुआ करता था, जिसके काफी I'm sure काफी reasons है. But then one other thing that happens with this generation is either like I'm talking about my generation by saying this generation.
Yes,
is that either
you are like
we
a decade younger than me.
So like either we are too scared of saying I love you, like it feels like a very big commitment, या फिर हम इतना casually I love you कहते हैं, like you love someone like you love your shoes, or you know वो एक love का जो specific like वो जो speciality जो थी, that has kind of worn off with time. So do you feel like you belong to either of those categories, where you feel like you've in the past maybe been the person who's casually said it, or always been scared of just saying it too soon?
I don't shy from the word love, and I've never shied away from it. I think the first time, and you know, people say, oh, when you're really young, it's not love, it's infatuation, it's attraction, it's you are just going through a phase. I've never been that person. I actually started writing poetry when I first fell in love, which was when I was 13 years old, Haley. And you know, everyone was like, "Arey, ye to bas bachcho wali baatein, arey, arey, arey." But looking back at it, I think that was the purest form of love that I experienced at that age, which has helped me shape up to be the person that I am today. And again, I'm referring to my poem 2019 mein 1999, because I believe that last year I found myself being that 13-year-old Priya again. You know, जो उसी तरीके से प्यार कर रही थी जिस तरीके से 13 साल की प्रिया प्यार करती थी, 12, 13, 14 साल की, whatever. But you know, 1999 में I was what, 12. So that kid, that 12, 13 years old, I remember I was in class 7. I was again that person. और मेरे लिए वो प्यार है. मेरे लिए I have never shied away from expressing love. And I know what you're talking about with your generation. When I used to teach in a high school, a lot of kids kids class 11th and 12th, girls used to come and say the same thing that what you just said to me, that the L word, they used to call it. I remember. And it was my first time hearing that, the L
or
word.
like the L bomb.
Yes, the L bomb. And I belong to a generation which didn't feel that way, you know. I mean, हम लोग तो रोज I love you बोलते थे, and इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि जिससे भी बोलते थे उससे 100% था. I would also agree with that. What you just said, that sometimes, you know, we probably didn't mean it, or probably we didn't understand if that was love or wasn't, you know, but we just felt कि it's love. But somehow, you know, even my era of Bollywood and my era of songs was that only, जिसमें मतलब इलू इलू ही होता था. Every song was about expressing love. So I think somehow I do belong to that generation that has never shied away from it. And even as a person, मतलब अगर जैसा मैंने आपको पहले बोला, अगर मुझे किसी से प्यार होता है तो उस इंसान को within 5 minutes पता चल जाता है कि this person is in love with me. I'm very bad at trying to hide my feelings for people. And for anyone who knows me, knows how overwhelmingly caring I get. So I am that person, you know. I'll start, or I don't know if you've heard of the 5 languages of love. Have you?
Yeah. Love language, yes.
So
quality time and appreciation.
So there is quality time, exchanging gifts, acts of service, words of assurance, and I'm forgetting the 5th one. Physical chemistry, I think physical chemistry.
Yeah. Maybe it's about like physical gestures.
Yes. No, like chemistry.
Chemistry.
Gestures comes in acts of service.
Right.
So my top language of love I have identified is acts of service. The moment I start doing things for somebody, and by doing I'll mean everything, right? I'll suddenly start cooking for that person. That's usually my first way. I'll suddenly start doing things for that person. कि अरे मैं कर देती हूँ, अरे let me do this, अरे let me do this. तो सबसे पहला मेरा वो होता है. And the second one, strangely in my case, is also exchanging gifts. I start buying things for people. You know, I'll start buying gifts for that person. So I have identified these 2 as my top languages of love. And I've also learned that the other person's language might not be the same as mine. That doesn't mean that they don't love me. So I've
Yeah.
started now identifying what the other person's language is. And I often even have this conversation about these five and think, what do you think are yours? And that
Right.
helps me identify the way someone else loves, because not everyone can love you the exact way you love. I mean, I would love that. I would expect that. But
Yeah.
I've also learned that other languages of love also mean love.
Yeah, there
So,
is this quote that says that, you cannot tell people who love you how to love you. So this is
yes.
that.
Yeah.
एक और बात है जो हमारी generation जिससे struggle करती है when it comes to falling in love. It's the fact that we are scared of attachment a little bit. क्योंकि
Hmm.
हमें so that's why there is this concept of say dating or casual relationships, because
Hmm.
somewhere we're all a little scared of attachment. And I
Hmm.
think I've also been through that, where I am scared of like
Hmm.
getting attached to someone, especially because when you sometimes that like relationships or romantic relationships come with like an expiry date. So you're just like,
Hmm.
why invest so much when you know it's not gonna last?
Casual relationships, casual dating rather, is a very interesting concept because that shows you a lot about human behavior. हम चाहते हैं कि casual relationship casual ही रहे because हमें इतना डर होता है कि oh my god, अगर मुझे प्यार हो गया तो. What does that speak about yourself? That means that you are that person जिसको अगर प्यार हो गया तो आप casual relationship नहीं रख पाओगे, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very beautiful thing. That's a very beautiful thing of human behavior. I have never been a casual relationships person. And even if I have tried, it has not worked. That I know that I'll catch feelings for a person. And now in this stage of life, I realize there is nothing more beautiful than being in a relationship. वो प्यार ही किया जिससे खोने का डर ना हो. Right? And so, और आज अगर टूटे हुए हो तो कल शिद्दत से बिखरना भी तो सीखो. Exactly what you said. That
Yes.
if you are coming from a broken relationship and you're scared, oh my God, what if I get rejected again? It's okay. You will learn something. That you'll move on. You'll find someone. So I think understanding that you are going to have some bad relationships in order to understand what you don't want, or some relationships which don't quite materialize, it is all leading you to the path of love and self enlightenment. And I think that is what it is all about. The sooner we accept that, the better it gets. Another change that I've noticed in myself when it comes to relationship is that I never used to get on board a ship when I didn't know where it was cruising. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
मैं वो इंसान नहीं हूँ. आई हैव चेंज्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट. अब मुझे सीरियसली ये लगता है कि इफ आई एम मेंट टू बी विद समवन, मैं चाहे कितनी भी प्लानिंग कर लूं, कुछ भी कर लूं, कुछ भी हो जाए, आई विल एंड अप विद दैट पर्सन. एंड इफ आई एम नॉट मेंट टू बी विद समवन, तभी भी मैं जितनी भी कोशिश कर लूं, मैं कहीं भी कुछ भी कर लूं हीली, आई विल नॉट एंड अप विद दैट पर्सन. सो
Right.
कहीं ना कहीं वो प्लान्स और वो कि ओ माय गॉड, अभी 6 महीने डेटिंग, फिर सगाई, फिर शादी, फिर बच्चे, आई एम नॉट दैट पर्सन एनीमोर. आई
Right.
नाउ enjoy and revel in the process of being in love, and I love the happiness and the fulfillment that it has given to me. And as I said, it has definitely made me the best version of who I am today.
Your concept about love, do you feel that like जो फिल्मों वाला या जो बुक्स वाला प्यार है वो वैसा प्यार एक्चुअल में होता है? Like I really need to know this.
Yes,
Does it
yes.
happen in real life?
Yes, yes, and yes. I think I was also at a point in my life where I thought aisa nahi hota. And I had given up on the textbook definition of love. And, growing up, I was a big fan of English literature and, everything. And most of the novels are based on, love, you'll end up with someone forever and, all of that. And movies, especially Bollywood for that matter, but even Hollywood to a very large extent, The Notebook and, all of that. And I always used to feel कि maybe ऐसा नहीं होता, maybe I've been misled, I need to be more practical about things, until I actually found that love and started believing in it all over again. Haley, as filmy as this will sound, but ऐसा होता है, और जब होगा आपको पता भी चल जाएगा कि आपके साथ हो रहा है, और अगर नहीं हो रहा है, I'm sorry to say, it means that you're in a wrong relationship, or you're in a relationship which is not your forever relationship.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally experienced that. So I'm speaking out of my own subjective experience. But that might not be the case with everybody. I'm open to that understanding as well.
I guess like somewhere it also requires you to be open to those things in life.
Oh, yes. You know, I've always believed that when you open yourselves up to the world, whether it is professionally or personally, you start receiving it as well. But yeah, you have to be open to receiving love in order to give love. And I think this is where I would bring out the importance of self-love as well. Because, you know, somebody told me a few years ago that if, Priya, you are not happy, you will never be able to give happiness to somebody. And I was like, no, I'm the kind of person who can, you know, make people happy and blah, blah, by doing this, that, and that. And now I truly agree with that person, because I realized that the moment you start loving who you are completely is when you can also give yourselves to someone completely. I mean, I'm at a point in life where the person that I am so much in love with, I have given that person now the power to break my heart if that's the case. And you know, I have also become that person now who's open to that path. If life or destiny has that path for me, I'll take it. I no longer fight with my destiny. I have lived my first 20 something years fighting with what life had to give to me. You know, I'm always trying to make it better, always trying to make it work, always trying, professionally and personally both. I think it is only in the last couple of years that I've embraced what life has to give to me, whether it is happiness or health or sickness or unhappiness or heartbreak or suffering or failures or disappointments or successes or achievements. I've started embracing it all now. And I think I'm no longer competing. And I think that is also such an important point, you know. Matlab, social media, mein na, you know, oh my God, dekho iski engagement ho gayi. Oh my God, dekho, they are in an official relationship. I think Facebook ruined it for people, right? Suddenly, oh, their relationship status is committed. So I think that competition also that we have in personal lives, kiski shadi pehle hui, kiske bacche pehle hue, you know, all of that, it really ruins us. So I think, so the important thing is to be embracing what life is throwing at you and not be constantly trying to get to the next path. Ki, oh my God, it's not a video game. You're not going to get to the next
Not
level.
the next level, yeah.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about like labels? Because they have become a very big deal, or like in terms of even social media. Like you said, there's a status update, or like there is hashtag couple goals. So I
Or
was actually,
Instagram official.
oh yeah, or like OTP, one true pairing, and things like that. So yeah, like those things. I mean, like I've been one to not believe in labels. Like even the most basic labels of like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. So have you like I mean I take from your previous answer that you also don't really
Yeah, I mean, you know, as much as I don't hate labels, I'll be honest about that as well. Like, I don't hate the fact that somebody believes in marriage and engagement and calling someone your boyfriend or a husband or wife. I truly respect all of that as well. Whatever floats your boat, whatever keeps you happy, and I understand people's need for labels as well. The only label I need, honestly, in my life is monogamy. I need, want, require, demand, expect monogamy.
right.
And I will give monogamy in return. To me, that's the only label I need. And again, nothing against people who are into, you know, polyamorous relationships or people who believe in having more than one partner. I completely respect that as well. But that's the only label I need, is to be the only person in the other person's life. And again, this is such an uncool concept in 2020. But I firmly and truly believe. You know, I read something recently on some random Instagram post, which I really resonated with, which said, loyalty is not a choice, it is a responsibility.
This has been really interesting, Priya. I have just one last question for you, and then we can wrap this up. I feel like मैंने इतना कुछ सीख लिया है, मतलब मुझे बैठ के notes बनाने चाहिए थे. And I
Mata
still
Priya.
have more questions, but like, of course, I want to respect your time and also the time of this segment. What do you think is that one thing that helps you or that could help others who are watching this embrace their emotions?
I think believing in the fact that vulnerability is the biggest superpower you can have. You know, अगर आप चीजों से अफेक्ट होते हैं, अगर आप रोते हैं, अगर आपको बुरा लगता है, अगर आपका दिल टूटता है, तो बधाई हो, आप अभी भी एक इंसान हैं. So I think as long as you can embrace that feeling that it is good to feel all that, and that proves that you're still human. That's the biggest lesson you can learn for the rest of your life. जिस दिन ये सब feel होना बंद हो जाएगा, उस दिन congratulations, आप robot बन चुके हैं. So yeah, I think it's as simple as that.
That is lovely, Priya. Thank you so much for this conversation about love. I don't think I could have had this conversation with anybody else who could have, done justice to it. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and
Thank you.
hope to see you for more episodes. That's all from our side, guys. Bye bye. Just waving to the camera because there's no real audience here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.